Today is the big day. We are currently walking towards Kangchenjunga North Base Camp.
Oh my god, that's a big one.
I'm not even sure what that is. I've never seen anything like it. That wasn't a bit sketchy. That was really scary. And then the snowstorm started. Namaste, Tashi and welcome back to The Man Who Stared at Mountains. This is the second episode of our big Kangchenjunga circuit trekking video. In the first episode we showed you how we actually got to the Kangchenjunga Trek and how we hiked in about a week via Ghunsa up to Kambachen. If you haven't seen the first episode, I highly recommend you watch that first. Otherwise, here is a map explaining to you where we are and what we're doing. Kangchenjunga is the third highest mountain in the world and sits in the very northeast corner of Nepal. It's almost as high as Everest and a lot higher than other 8,000ers like Annapurna. It still is a lot less developed as a trekking region due to its remoteness. Accessing the area requires a domestic flight, a tuk-tuk ride, a 9-hour-long taxi ride followed by a 4-hour off-road jeep trip. All that before you can finally reach Ranipul at the confluence of the Tamur and Ghunsa rivers, from where you can finally start your 1-week trek up to the actual mountain. After getting caught by snow in the town of Ghunsa, hiking further up the valley to Kambachen and climbing to the breathtaking Janu viewpoint from there, Chandi and I are actually currently on the way to Lhonak and ultimately to the Kangchenjunga North Base Camp at Pangpema. Yeah, in episode 1 I left you off sitting in my room being really worried about the trail conditions and about the snow on the trail. It did snow yesterday all evening, but luckily none of this snow stayed on the ground, and so the trail today is quite okay. I'm not sure if we're making good pace on our way to Lhonak right now, but the weather is absolutely brilliant and the view is astonishing. Little landslide area here. Looks a bit sketchy. That wasn't a bit sketchy. That was really scary. There were rocks shooting down directly at the trail, and now I'm standing in front of... I'm not even sure what that is. I've never seen anything like it. The Kondo Fall is a jaw-dropping mix between a frozen waterfall and a baby glacier, featuring impressive snow penitents. But that wasn't the only spectacular sight on our way to Lhonak.
Oh my god, that's a big one.
Good morning, friends. Today is the big day. We are currently walking towards Kangchenjunga North Base Camp. It's supposed to be a 4.5-hour walk in good conditions, so with our snow conditions we're looking at 5 hours plus, unfortunately. And also we might have a race against the clouds on our hand, because behind me, further down the valley, loom rather grayish clouds. In front of me are also some clouds. They're scattered though. They don't look that dangerous. Currently they're covering the peak of appropriately named Nepal Peak. Otherwise, it looks like we have small chance of seeing Kangchenjunga today. I would love to be more optimistic, but it doesn't look that great. So we failed. We wanted to show you the north face of the third highest mountain in the world, but we failed because of the weather. But before I talk about the weather, first I would like to describe the trail to Kangchenjunga North Base Camp to you. So when you're starting from Lhonak, the first 1/3 of the way is very easy, very smooth, very shallow upwards. Really a pleasure to walk. And then the troubles start, because you need to descend from an old glacier moraine to a new glacier moraine that is further down. The descent is almost vertical, really very steep, and with the snow quite slippery as well. Once you reached the new moraine, you will meet a landslide coming from above, obviously, and you need to cross that on the upper end. So you have to go back up about 100 vertical meters, and yeah, almost vertical. Very steep. So this trail is completely redefining the phrase Nepali flat. Then further on you got a flat karka to cross. That is not difficult, that is pleasant. Then you will meet another landslide, I think a quite young one. You have to also cross that on the upper end, and that involves some rock scrambling, boulder hopping. Most of them are loose, so that is not fun, especially when it's in the snow and you can't even see half the boulders. Then another flat meadow to cross, and at the very least another landslide to go around, this one being a bit more easy, but by that time you are probably so tired that this will knock you out completely. That landslide is also the highest point on the trek. That is about 5,200 meters high, and from there it's just downhill to Pangpema, where the North Base Camp is for Kangchenjunga. And with our trail conditions, we needed about 5 hours to get there. Without snow, it's probably doable in 4. Then, what can you find at Pangpema? There is a newish looking toilet building. There is a stone hut that looked like it has some sort of dining room and like 2 rooms you could camp in when it's open. Now for us it was of course closed. Then there is a sign saying Kangchenjunga North Base Camp, Pangpema, and so on and so forth. And otherwise there isn't much. It could serve as your base if you want to climb Dromuri, which is a hill right behind Pangpema. Of course, you would need to sleep in the tea house to do that. So, and also together with the snow, this is why it was completely out of the question for us. Otherwise, there is probably the best view of the Kangchenjunga North Face you can have. Just not for us, unfortunately. We stayed 40 minutes full of hope that maybe for a few seconds the clouds would lift and we could actually see the mountain, but that didn't happen. This is how it's supposed to look, and here is how it looked for us. Then, after about half an hour, we realized that the clouds that were moving in from below were moving a lot quicker suddenly, and also looked a lot more grayer than before. That's when we realized we need to get down from this mountain, and hastily packed our things and started walking back. And luckily we managed to navigate the tricky parts of the trail before the snowstorm started. And then the snowstorm started. So the last 2 hours we walked in pretty heavy snowfall, and the snow also didn't just fall vertically, it fell horizontally directly in our faces. It hurt in the eyes, so you needed to wear sunglasses, but the sunglasses then were full of ice within a minute. So you tried to spot things through the gap between your sunglasses and your hat, but of course the snow flies in there as well. So half blind, we stumbled back to Lhonak. This is how we looked when we arrived there. And yeah, this was our chance to see the Kangchenjunga North Face. And if you're wondering if we would try again, no, because of two reasons. First, in the morning the snow clouds were still in some of the side valleys, and also the usual grey afternoon clouds rolled in from the south already in the morning, and there were already snowfall around lunchtime. And of course we had 5 to 15 centimeters of fresh powder on the trail, hiding the trail completely and making the sketchy sections on the trail even more dangerous. So this is why we decided to accept our failure for the North Base Camp. And instead of waiting for the snow to melt on the north side of the mountain, we made our way back down to Ghunsa. However, we have not yet given up on the mountains itself. No. Bear with me. There is another way to approach Kangchenjunga. From Ghunsa, there is a trail called the Selele trail, leaving towards the southeast. And from there, climbing up a ridge, crossing 3 or 4 high mountain passes, all between 4,600 and 4,800 meters, and then drops down into another valley to the east. And that valley in turn, you can go up and then reach the south face of Kangchenjunga and its south base camp. Now, this is not 100% certain option. There are still a few ifs. First of all, we need to make sure the weather is stable, because the last thing we need is more snow. Then we need to make sure that the tea house on the way to the mountain passes is open, and we have to make sure that the tea houses in the eastern valley are open. So when we reach Ghunsa, which should be in about 2 hours time, we might spend an extra day there to A, find a reliable weather forecast, B, make sure that the Selele Phedi tea house is open, and C, make sure we know what is going on in the other valley. Finally we made it to Ghunsa. Started at 8 this morning, now it's 5, including a 1-hour lunch break. You do the math. According to the map, it's about 20 kilometers from Lhonak to Ghunsa, but the map is not very precise, so it's probably a little more. Finally back. The metropolis that is Ghunsa, the epicenter of civilization. I hope my subway ticket is still valid so I can go to the mall tomorrow. Anyway, I'm looking forward to a shower now, into a beer, and then I will catch up with you tomorrow when we hopefully know more about the Selele trail. I'm not at all a religious person, but when you're in need of a little bit of good luck, a visit to the local Gompa probably cannot hurt. Also, the Gompa here in Ghunsa is one of the oldest monasteries in all of eastern Nepal, and in my opinion the entry fee of 200 rupees is well spent there. Then, regarding our attempt to cross Selele and the other mountain passes over into that other valley to the southeast, the owner of the lodge we're staying in kindly tried to call one of the lodges in Selele Phedi. Unfortunately, that call wasn't picked up, but that might very well be due to bad phone connection. What we did learn though is that 3 other trekkers yesterday already with their guides set off towards Selele Phedi and the passes, and they haven't returned yet, so for us that is a strong indication that this route might be possible. So for now, unless we managed to set up a phone call with Selele Phedi, we believe it's possible. We remain cautiously optimistic, and we hope it does start to rain or snow. So far it has been cloudy all day. Now it's about 3:30 p.m. I hope it stays like that. And otherwise, there is not much we can do at this moment. You see us walking through the forest. You hear me huffing and puffing like an old steam engine, which means we're underway to Selele Phedi and to the Selele trail, or on the Selele trail. I usually don't want to advertise specific lodges or the like, but the owner of the Junga family home where we stayed the last 2 days was so nice. He called pretty much everybody he knows from this and from the other side of the pass to make sure all the tea houses that we need to be open are open. He even called the owner of the Selele Phedi tea house this morning again to make sure he will open it up for us. What you also can see are at least spots of blue sky. Not the whole sky is blue, there are clouds around the mountains, but over the valley most of the sky is blue, so that looks good, at least for today. And yeah, so we are making our way towards the southeast to cross 3 or 4 mountain passes tomorrow, depending on how you count them, and then try to approach Kangchenjunga from the south. The way towards Selele and the other passes is quite steep. You go southeast from Ghunsa, climb up along the pipes of the hydropower plant, and then climb up and around a ridge to the south, and up to Selele Phedi. And I would appreciate if you would join us on this walk. This forest is just wow. Rhododendron bushes, huge old pine trees, and their smell, mossy rocks, larches, amazing, wonderful, just brilliant. Yeah, so also the 11th day on our trek didn't go as actually planned. The climb up through the forest was really nice. Took about 2.5 hours, and then you round around a ridge, and then you are at the southwest side of the hill. And we thought, because we're stupid, that the hill looking southwest would have less snow. than the other valley. That was wrong. There were lots and lots and lots of snow on this side. So the rest of the way to Selele Phedi took a lot longer than we thought. Altogether, we hiked about 5.5 hours to here. Not only the snow was back, also the clouds were back. Visibility was really bad, and about halfway there was a really steep climb up in deep snow, so that was very difficult. But we're here in Selele Phedi, and tomorrow we are going to cross a number of high mountain passes. First one will be Selele at about 4,600 something, and then there are two more in the middle, and the fourth one will be the highest at about 4,700 meters. And then it's about 1,000 meters steeply down to Cheram, where we finally end up in the valley that might take us up to the south face of Kangchenjunga. So despite also this day was way harder than we expected, we are still in the race. We still might have a chance to see Kangchenjunga. But that would be in the third episode of our big Kangchenjunga trek. I actually don't even want to ask if you like this video. I mean, this video is about the North Base Camp of Kangchenjunga, and we failed showing you the mountain entirely. But maybe you have a bit sympathy for the bad luck with the weather that we're having, and maybe that could be worth a thumbs up. That would be highly appreciated. And if you don't want to miss the next video, when we will do everything we can to finally show you Kangchenjunga, then please subscribe to our channel and you will be notified when that video is online. That said, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video.